Welcome to my show. Welcome to my channel. We're going to get deep into the order, Rosicrucians, and the order of the rose, and the rose crux, and the pink flame, the high heart. We'll get into the emerald flame and the transmutation from the lower realms to the higher realms through rainbow color transmutation of understanding that we're going through changes, and that's a lot of what people can't grasp and can't understand in their mind due to the manipulation of the DNA and the spirit and so forth. And this has everything to do with Mary Magdalene, everything to do with the Rose Crux, the dragon bloodline, the dragon and rose ley lines, the crossroads of the heart. A lot of people, you have the kundalinis and you have all the symbolism of everything that within the spiritual communities that people, we will say, I like to put it on the sense of piggybacking, because piggybacking on a dead Buddha, piggybacking on a dead Jesus, there's no teachings of understanding. So there's, we'll say new teachings, the new teachings of Mother Earth, the new teachings of understanding what the pink high heart really is, what the emerald flame really is, the initiation into the higher realms, because these are your chakras. But you have your basic chakra colors, your red, your orange, your gold, your green, moving on up, and purple and violet and blah blah blah, the colors of the rainbow. But the thing about pink, it's not a color. It's not in your initial rainbow. So for one to be initiated back into Rosicrucian, the Rose Crux, a master of soul experience, of coming into the higher realms of behind the sun cross, because you do have the emerald ray, you do have Hermes, and then you have Merlin, and you have the connection to Ireland and the green man and the four-leaf clover and the symbolism of the four-leaf clover, by reflecting also the transmutation of the sun. And that's a lot that people don't understand truly within and without, because the sun rising and the sun setting and the transformation of the colors that take place of the lower realms into the higher realms, this is the part where people are disconnected from Mother Earth, because we were born into the lower realms and not understanding truly what frequencies are, what energies are, and the sacred animals, the symbolism, stuff like this, medicine wheel, sun cross, star David, swastika, and how things spin internally through time and space, through the real realignment of the alchemical realchemized tree of life to access the pink high heart. The water, the ice wall, the water, the mercury, mercury, salt, sulfur of spiritual transmutation, transformation, to be able to access this, because the mind must be able to comprehend the energies, and the body has to go through a process of DNA transformation, because the DNA was manipulated by the fallen ones. And so when they're talking about the temple, you're talking about numerical codes on numerical code, sacred geometry, on an alchemical basis of building your inner temple, which reflects on everything of realigning with the planets, the stars, sun and moon, elements, the realignment of the Mayan calendar within the perfect balance of the Pleiadians, and everything that has happened of ancient timelines that has come and brought chaos, and being able to separate and understand that this is a process of ascension, of lifting up the feminine and fixing creation. Because it's fixing creation. This isn't about humanity, and a lot of people can see today of how chaotic and crazy it is, because this is what happens in the end days, and this has happened in the past for eons, because this is the fall out of the tree. So the fall out of the tree is the fall out of higher consciousness, not being connected to Mother Earth, not having the sacred water to understand the inner transformation, and realigning your third eye to the rays of unity, of reconnecting your inner sun to the outer sun in the pole shift, the realigning of removing the Gregorian calendar from oneself and returning to the Mayan calendar. These are all numerical codes, and as people say, hertz, frequencies, 432, 528. But we can go up higher, because things are in a transmuted way of flipping the 7 hermetic codes and the 7 initial colors of the rainbow into the mirror image of 2 times 7, 7 plus 7 is 14, 7 times 2 is 14, 1 plus 5, 1 plus 4 is 5. There's a lot of intertwining with the numerical codes that people can't understand, as in 918 hertz, which is a locking code of the Ouroboros and the Rainbow Prophecy, of understanding your 0 point and the true numerical codes of the 1 and 0. So the initiation, there is Reiki, there is, a lot of people like to use words to give themselves a pedestal of saying that they are spiritual teachers. A lot of people do Reiki, but there is still, a lot of mediums and psychics. A lot of people teach different things, but there is the initial water womb. There's the initial getting back into the temple through self-initiation or finding the right teacher, and accessing the emerald heart, and accessing the pink salt, because the pink salt, the pink flame, everything is a rainbow flame. So you're looking at your initial 7 colors, you can't see them. You can't see your DNA. You can't see your chakra system. You can't see the spiritual realms. You can talk about it on certain levels, but a lot of people still see the shadows in their visions, and can't open up their third eye to see into the higher realms beyond the Hyperborealis within their own soul, of seeing through the veil of the crystallized diamond pillar of initiation. That's where people are attempting to get to, attempting to access. But there's a circle, there's a pillar, there's sacred geometry to building a Merkaba, there's sacred geometry to building a light body ship and building the diamond codes. And there's mercury, salt, sulfur, there's all the elements. So then you're getting into, like I said, the numerical codes, you're getting into glyphs, you're getting into frequencies, you're getting into animals, you're getting into sacred animals, sacred water, sacred fire, the transmutation of what does it really take to create the pink flame. One's not able to access this because this is the initiation of what it was 2,000 years ago. This is the initiation of the Druidic order, the Rosicrucians, the Templars. You know, we don't put ourselves on pedestals. We don't, you know, people won't understand. They don't understand magic. People can't see the spirit. They don't understand what's going on today within the religious aspect of things, and how things today are repeating themselves as in ancient history, but in a futuristic sense. And so you're having a lot of confusion, and that's what happens when Babylon falls. You have a lot of confusion, and people are already confused because their mind can't comprehend what they're seeing out there. And, you know, there is good versus evil, and there always has been. But what has happened in this timeline is it has been, you know, these are the end days. So the transmuting out is removing the demons from one's soul, from one's body, through the initiation of overcoming your own thinking, you know, negative thinking patterns, and overcoming your own trauma, being traumatized by what you're seeing out there, being traumatized from ancient history, and things that are happening that may have happened to you and may have happened to, you know, whatever. It's walking that path of enlightenment through the darkness, and as people trying to reach the Buddha path, there's many different lines, many different routes, many different ways to travel spiritually when you're looking at you know, a spiritual path. But the hardest one to get back into is the north, and that's, you know, that's where a lot of the white people have lost their Nordic lineage, because the Nordic lineage is the Irish, it's the Celts, it's the Gaelic, it's Nordic, it's, you know, everything north behind, you know, everything that is within the snow, because that's the ice wall, that's where the water freezes, you know, that's where the blue water turns white. It's symbolism. So this is that part of initiation in your heart center of how does the green and pink merge. You know, they tell you that there's a high heart, but you can't access this high heart because this is the pink flame. The red and blue, people know the red and blue as transmutation into the purple flame, into the violet flame, and that's what they've known since 2012. But what does it take to transmute into a pink flame? That's the part of the red and blue Kachina transitioning into the pink Kachina. People don't know. That's old terminology. That's an old speech. You know, it's just like the rainbow prophecy. People have been talking about it for years, but what have they learned about it? You know, there's no elders. The elders have been killed. You know, all walks of life. So how is it? You know, we just passed St. Patrick's Day. We just passed the Celtic timeline. We just passed Friday the 13th. But what does it reflect? You know, people are so brainwashed and don't understand the 13th dragon bloodline of Mary, because they're not initiated. They think everything is in the past. But if you're looking at the rise of the beast today, this is the Rosicrucians. These are the true Freemasons, because the true Masons are the feminine. They're the ones that hold the temple within their bellies. Why do you think they came after the feminine? They wanted to kill creation. Over masculinity, demonic possession, the fallen ones. So when you're looking into this timeline and you're looking outside into this reality, that's the fall. Consciously move into your heart center, come into the unconditional love for all of humanity without judgment. You have to. Be compassionate towards everybody. It's the only way. It's a service to self or it's a service to others. And that service to self is an ego trip. But it's also part of that stage of suffering, the separation of humanity, of where they have separated people over the past few years and what they've done of moving people into the AI. It's real. But it's not a part people can't see. They don't understand that the AI and the beast and the fallen have been put into the AI. Everything still resides today. It's just that everything that you have heard of in the past is a fairy tale. You're talking about Jesus, you're talking about the devil, you're talking about all the fallen shit, Egypt, you're talking about unicorns, dragons, it's all in the past. You're talking about the green man, the Irish, the Celtic, the Gaelic, the old, the Druidic orders. It's all in the past. So what resides today when no one can understand what other people are saying? And it doesn't matter if they are light workers and star seeds, or if they say that they're Christian, or they say they're Jewish, or whatever they say that they are. You can have your shamans, your true shamans, ones who are true within their own fire, within their own spirit, who know, who can speak on it, who can speak on the red road, who can speak on the blood moon, who can speak on the red horse, who can speak on the revelations, because they can see it, because it's a frequency. It's a frequency that resides in humanity, in the collective, which has already been purged from Mother Earth, which has already been purged from the sacred water, which has been purged from the elements and the blueprints of creation, so people can ascend. So she, the daughter, the mother, can come back into the perfect balance of heaven on earth. Mother Earth, Venus, the planets, your external rainbow. That's the thing when it comes to the planets, when it comes to all this stuff in the universe. People are disconnected because the universe is out there and are not connected within to their chakra system. Truly, 100%. Because when you are initiated across the threshold, when you're allowed onto the other side of this threshold, spiritual threshold, this is separating from your lower realms of your chakras and moving up into your ultraviolet ray chakras. But you have to pass through a specific gate of initiation. And that's the part of people can only see the 7 gates, 7 candlesticks. What is the 8th gate? The 8th gate is 16. 8 times 2, 88, 16, which is 7. 8 plus 8 is 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. A lot of people talk. You want to be initiated. You want to be part of the Rose Crux. Return. See, that's, you have your other tribes. Like I said, Blue Kachina, Red Kachina creates a Pink Kachina. It's just a daughter. But see, there's the green Emerald Ray of Hermes. There's the Emerald Triangle. There's the green and pink gold, green, pink, and gold connection. Everything is beyond people's reach. Because he can't talk about it, because it's within your it's within your lost memory. So people wanted to talk about the Akashic records, to try and access the galactic realms, talking about aliens, stuff like that. No one even knows who's giving them this message. That's the thing. No one knows who's out there today. You know, people still on the same path, same spiritual stuff of this religious stuff, the Area 51, you know, still in a separated timeline, in the dream spell, because they don't have in their consciousness of being able to climb Jacob's ladder. You know, like I said, you talk about the rainbow bridge, you talk about the rainbow prophecies, talking about the, you know, all this stuff about, you know, spiritual stuff. It's a frequency thing, and that's the problem with the nightmares and how everyone comes back into their body and don't understand their nightmares and their dreams and their visions, and it's all ignored. So we go deep.